Well, what I had decided was that I did want to go into medical sciences, and that in order to do that, I was going to really have to go to university and get into the universities. Now, because I just had a straight high school education, and education over here was actually quite in advance of the same level of American education, what I found after actually being fortunate enough to talk with some of the people at the universities, so what I found out was that I was going to have to go back and effectively go back to school and do and pick up my O grade and higher grades. This is up in Scotland. So that's what I did for 3 years. I got myself a job working nights so that I could actually go to school during the day and get my O grades and higher grades in biology, chemistry, mathematics, and physics. And at the time, because I was 25, that was enough for the universities to accept me as a mature student. And I did work hard at it. I got all A's in all my classes, but I was running out of money real fast and needed to eat and support a family by this point. I had a son and a daughter. Yeah, so I did apply to the University of Edinburgh. That was my first choice, to get into biological sciences and then physiology. What I found out, and was so pleased to find out, was that because I had gone back and done my O grades and my higher grades, and it had taken me 3 years, over that 3-year period I had been considered a permanent resident of the country. And because I was a permanent resident of the country, the government paid for my entire education, gave me a grant completely, and also, something to live off. Again, wife and 2 children. We didn't live high, but, it was enough to survive on. It was very, very good. Very nice system, terrific system. Yeah, so I was accepted at the University of Edinburgh into, at the time, when it was biological sciences. And the whole idea in Scottish universities is that you study for 3 years in biological sciences, was my chosen subject, and at the end of the 3 years, you obtain an ordinary BSc degree. And then if you've done well enough, and you have certain specialist subjects that you take during those 3 years, which in my instance was pharmacology, physiology, and biochemistry, then you're able to actually apply to go into an honors year. And I was lucky enough to be accepted into honors physiology. There were only 9 of us that actually did get into it, and we had to go for an interview with the professor of the department, who was Bill Watson at the time, and John Russell was the second head of the department. But it was an area that I really wanted to get into, and I kind of pushed them. I think I made my case for, yes, this is something that I really do want to do. So I was fortunate enough to do reasonably well at Edinburgh and graduated with the honors degree in physiology. And from there, obviously put out a number of applications to various companies. In fact, I applied to anything I could possibly do, British Rail, accountancy, anything, but was lucky enough to get into a contract research company that was involved in pharmaceutical research. And from there, I was there for about 2 years, and it did allow me to develop further skills, actually, in my background, which is pretty much in vivo pharmacology. Now, this was something I didn't mention earlier, but when I was at Edinburgh University, we were actually very lucky, because our honors year in physiology dealt almost wholly with in vivo work. And this gave me a background that I just don't think a lot of other people had at that time, and I'm sure they don't now. But then I did get into contract research with this company, and it kind of played to my strengths. I was involved in quite a bit of in vivo research there, and this would pay off later on, because it did help me develop skills in actually surgery and recovery surgery, which played a big part in work ultimately when I went on to do antiemetic work later on.